Welcome back to Melbourne Strength Cultures podcast. Number one in the heart, number one in the charts. We've got the boy there's, which is definitely the most requested style of potty, without a doubt. We love the fans, especially the ones in the Discord. The Discord has been popping off lately. Shouts out to the Discord community. I think we're closing in on 350.
350.
Which I can't believe.
255.
350. And another milestone that we hit is we passed 400 5-star reviews on Spotify. So thank you very much. That's actually crazy.
It is, but it's not 500.
It's not 500.
So make sure you like the podcast on Spotify.
It takes probably about 3 seconds.
I think you actually got to listen to 3 episodes before.
Well, if you're here, you've probably listened to at least an episode.
Yeah. So make sure you get on the 5-star reviews. We'd love to crack 500. And we've also, for everybody at home, we have confirmed that we will be doing a 3-hour Christmas special.
Extravaganza.
What do you want to call it, Charles?
Bonanza.
And what wine are we going to drink? Obviously red, but...
Red or fucking...
I reckon we go big. I don't know names, just big.
Just something expensive.
Just look at the price.
the ones in the cabinet at Dan Murphy's.
The ones that are locked up.
Yeah.
We'll get one of them and then we'll get a
couple of
few-
tracks.
We're getting a train to work that day. We're going to do it on a Friday.
Yeah.
So then we can kick on a stomping ground after.
Easy.
Oh, I'm taking work off in the morning then.
Gym's closed on a Friday.
It's off.
We're running with the Bulls, Tempranillo. It's the only one I know. I like them Spanish ones.
If you know a good wine, let us know. What do you want us to see us taste?
So I wanted to scotch, but
We can do scotch. We can do whatever the fuck we
We'll
want.
do the work.
do a double.
Maybe we make it like a Patreon thing. Send us the alcohol that you want us to drink.
When I was working at the pantry, the
Kickstarter.
manager used to have the scotch and the beer together.
Really?
Yeah, it was mad.
Like,
So
like a shot. You have a shot.
you sip the whiskey, but then you have the beers there. You know, it's there to nurse it, chase it, but you get hammered.
Wait,
get
you
slammed.
sip the whiskey?
I did that in Edinburgh.
Yeah, like you drink your whiskey,
Edinburgh.
but then you've also got the beer, so you just alternate between the two. And it was mad.
I thought you bang it like a shot.
Nah, you don't bang it. You just have the two, but
More
because you've got the
sophisticated, come
two.
on.
It's like when you went with Cam and you had the cocktail and the vodka shot. It's
But
like
you just bang the vodka.
you bang the vodka.
Yeah,
Same
and then the
concept.
cocktail, fruity.
Same
Lovely.
concept. You get hammered though.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't beat a good cocktail. But I literally did that in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Shouts out Jay Bouz. But
Edinburgh.
I had a red wine and then I was like, oh, I might as well get a scotch. And I had a scotch on the side.
Whiskey.
And I had 2 of them. And then Laura went inside and the waiter was like, is he going to be all right? He's drinking very heavily. And I was
What,
like,
2 drinks?
because I had 4. I had 2 shots. And
Tell him
2
who
red
you
wines.
were.
So
Nah,
said
he
it,
didn't
yeah.
recognize me, unfortunately.
We have an exclusive offer. Thursday the 10th, the day that the podcast is released. If you DM one of the coaches to inquire for coaching, we will offer you your first fortnight free. You must inquire today. This is for our loyal listeners who are listening to the podcast the day it comes out. First fortnight's free. DM us today to secure your spot.
Yeah.
I did that once. I went to a cocktail bar and I had no idea like half the alcohols. So I was speaking to the mixologist. I think that's the
Yeah, it is.
that's what
Technical
it is.
term.
I'm like, hey man, I'm getting at an age. I probably need to know some of the things that are on the menu, like the ingredients and that. Like, how do I get into cocktails? I feel like it's
They have like notes.
it's a thing to understand as I get deeper into my
Adulthood.
late 20s, adulthood, this that. And he goes, go to a cocktail bar. Or go anywhere and just have all the classics. Just try the classics and you start to build your bank. I'm like, all right, no worries. I used to go Fridays to the city. Like Nikita would finish work at 5. I finished work at like 12. So I'd go in and I remember a few hours early. Like,
Get a head
just,
start.
get a head start. Sample the city. Melbourne City, tourist known city. Anyway, I went to that rooftop bar, rooftop in the city, and top of Curtin House. I went there. And I was like, I had my little tote bag, my laptop, but I'm like,
real hipster there.
like a bit of workout, Anyway, so I start ordering like 2 cocktails at a time. I'm like, I'll get the Cosmopolitan, I'll get that daiquiri and sorted. And every time the waitress would walk up to me, she's like, is this guy all right? Like,
Wait, so
for me.
Are you working?
the laptop still out?
Slamming
on the rooftop,
cocktails.
Slamming cocktails.
When the fuck was
This
this?
is a while ago. This is like maybe...
Real digital nomad.
Yeah. Real. Yeah, I'm like writing
nomad.
programs. It's like, tighten up your nutrition, fam.
Work on your recovery.
Yeah, and they're just coming through the fruitiest cocktails I could get. Everything, Manhattans, the lot. She's like, you all right? And by the time Nikita got there, she finished at 5. She looked at me.
I'm 17 down.
Yeah, I'm off my head. She's like, you all right? I'm like, yeah. The final right. I was fantastic.
Fine, all right.
But yeah, now I understand cocktails.
What's your favourite cocktail then?
I love a Cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Every time I
You
go
can't
to
beat the classic.
You can't. Every time I go to or it's not a classic, but a porn star martini. Every time I go to a restaurant or anywhere with cocktails, I just ask them, what's the sweetest / fruitiest thing on this?
Yeah.
And then they just give it to me.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. I thought I could get into Negronis. Too bitter.
Nah.
It's bitter and very liquory.
Yeah, but Anthony Bourdain, he had this quote in it. It's like, get the Negroni. Like, just it was talking about enjoying life.
That's a mad quote.
It is a fantastic
It's
quote.
like chase the girl, fucking.
Yeah, that's it.
like-
Have the food, eat on the fucking the stool outside the. It was just like about enjoying life and the finer things. In it is like, have the Negroni. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
go have the cocktail, whatever. But I was talking it literal, like have the Negroni.
Does he have a book? I've heard that he's like a very. He does.
He's he's not alive.
Passed away.
Yeah, no, I know. But he was a chef, but he was also like a.
Yeah, he did a lot of like food
thinking.
docos.
I reckon he'd
Yeah.
have
TV
books.
shows,
He'd surely have some.
I'm
Sure.
not-
Yeah, he does. He does. I can't remember the name, but he
books
definitely
and
has a book.
I'm gonna look into that. And I'm gonna go on.
Margarita.
That's your
I
favorite?
can't deal with the
Love it.
salt.
Yeah, because you're.
You just get no salt, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorted.
But that's one of the elements that makes it.
It's just
I love salt though.
yeah.
I love salt. So
Super
I lick it. Laura licks it. I know Laura and I always talk. We always order margaritas together.
Yeah, Margs are good.
Laura, because she likes the salt as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The salt
Fucking
and the
oath.
lemon. Yeah,
How'd you go on the weekend, Charles? You had your comp.
yeah. It was chill. It was a chill comp. Low stress. No music. No caffeine.
No, there was some music. There was some
I didn't listen to music.
some Greek music.
Oh me, I was out of boredom. I was bored.
It
at
was
the end.
long.
No, it was taking
Explain
long.
why. Like, give a bit
The-
of context. Why was this competition
Boring for you.
boring?
Because
Why
I-
was it a fucking
because
no music,
we
low
went through
stress?
a qualifying comp for Nats, but with USAPL there's no total. We just have to do a comp. So I didn't take the piss, but I didn't go super hard because I want to train.
You kind of took the piss. I think you took
I
the
didn't
piss.
take the piss.
That was a bit of piss taking.
No, there wasn't a piss taking. That's how I am normally at comps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like you weren't like putting pressure on yourself. I think that's you're like, oh, I'm just gonna put some numbers up.
Yeah, I
and,
did
like,
250 squat.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I trained the day before normally.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, but you took the piss. There's nothing wrong with
benched
that.
and deadlifted the day before normal. I pulled 290 the day before.
Really?
Yeah. A 250 squat, 155 bench, and then a 280 dead. Didn't do my third. I just was done. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. It was not. I was like, what am I going to do? Another
285,
285. Yeah, whatever. Like I was. So that was done.
And
And
so
so
the song before is the third deadlift, or second deadlift. Is called, what is it? Ma ego ime Elinas, which in Greek is like, I am a Greek. And then you see him, it's like literally next lift. He's the next lifter and he's sitting down reading the lyrics.
Like
on
he's got, you know, when
Spotify.
Spotify you drag up, you can see the lyrics. He's like
Yeah.
watching it word by word.
You're
I
learning.
was just. Well, they were taking. I don't know why the deadlift. I think there was some deadlift only. So there was more lifters, and it
It
was
was
just-
big flights. Big
It
flights.
was
big
taking
flights.
ages, and I was just getting bored. I was like restless. I was like, I need something to preoccupy my mind here. So I was just practicing my Greek reading
Yeah, nice.
because I'm trying to get my Greek a bit better.
in
next year.
preparation for 23.
Yeah, well, I just want to. So last night I was reading. I'm doing. It's called Life Pod, Greek Life Pod. I don't know. I found lessons through YouTube, and that you got to do an assessment. I'm doing the intermediate assessment, but it was like quite difficult. So it was all written in Greek. So I was learning some new shit. Got to about 20 questions. My brain hurt, so I got to finish it tonight. It was tough, but I want to.
Do you know how you went on the 20 questions?
Not yet, because I got to finish it and then submit it. And then it'll figure out where I'm at. Because this is the problem. I go to all the learning language stuff, and the beginner shit's too easy for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm past that, so I got to.
Because you're a big boy, yeah?
Because I'm a big boy.
Greek
Because
boy.
I got to find the
Big brain.
more intermediate. Because for me, it's
It's on Reddit.
Reddit.
Yeah, there's full on, like there's just people that just learn languages for fun, like 20, 30 languages.
Yeah, they're
It's ridiculous.
polyglots. Yeah.
What are they called?
Polyglots.
Polyglots.
Polyglots. Greek,
I
comes
would
from the
not
Greek word.
Guess that was the word for it.
Greek word.
What is a polyglot?
Poly, many, glossa, tongue. Polyglot.
And what they learn? They just learn.
The glottis.
Everything's Greek.
They just learn
They
languages.
speak like 20 languages.
Wow.
Yeah. The JP, because I went, when I trained with JP, I went to his house probably a year ago, 18 months ago, because obviously he's learnt Spanish pretty
Mate,
pretty
He's
good.
about to move there. Yeah.
Yeah, like he speaks it pretty damn well. He watches like conversations of polyglots where they just switch from language to language to language. He obviously spends more time with the Spanish stuff, but we'll probably talk about this with him on the podcast.
Yeah,
next
absolutely.
week.
We got him on
But
next week.
yeah, but they speak like 20 languages, and apparently, I don't think we'll never get there because none of us will ever. If we ever learn a second language, that'll probably be it. But apparently, the more languages the brain learns, the easier it becomes because the pattern recognition and everything is just like. So once you get to like 3, 4, 5, it just becomes
A lot
because
easier.
a lot of them have crossover. Like I'm sure between like Spanish and Portuguese and,
And Italian
French
and
and
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot of crossover. Yeah,
No
it's pretty
crossover
cool.
with Greek.
No
Greek-
cross-
Greek's
Well,
definitely-
it all stems from Greek, doesn't
It
it?
comes
Yeah.
from Greek.
Greeks invented language.
Top of the pyramid.
That's it. Luckily, we're all Greek. And you've been running.
Does help that my girlfriend speaks pretty fluent Greek. So
Is she beyond lessons? Like she doesn't need any lessons at all.
Yeah,
like she just
way beyond lessons.
Sorted.
Way beyond lessons.
Crazy.
No, she speaks pretty fucking. She read it, speak it, and so then it helps because I can ask her questions and shit. The grandparents just make fun of you. It's a very Greek thing. They don't lift you up. They shit on you.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
It's very so they make fun of me.
Wait, they shit on you for trying to learn?
They shit on you for making mistakes.
You make a mistake, and they'll just rip you.
So they complain that you don't speak Greek with them, but then when you try, and obviously you're learning, it's your second language, you make mistakes, and they laugh at you.
It'll be better, Charlie.
So my ER laughs at me, and Mum was like, "That's a very Greek thing. That's what that's the Greek culture. They're not very
forgiving.
Not up. They don't lift you up. They don't inspire you."
My mum when she went to Greece, and she's like fluent.
Yeah,
like she's really good at it because of Greek parents, but she's still switching between English and whatever.
Yeah, they make some mistakes here and there.
And she went there, and they like took the piss out of her, so she cracked it, and she goes, "Speak English."
Yeah. That's what I said to my ER. I was like, "You lived here for 60 years, you still can't speak English." Like, if I lived in Greece for 60 years, I'll be fucking
you'd hope so.
fluent.
What's your excuse here? Come on.
They don't give a shit, man. They don't care. They're like, they're fine with it. They're like, "I'm doing all right. Stuff it." You're the one that wants to learn.
Yeah,
Greek.
Surely, by the time you get to an age, you just fuck everything.
I don't know.
Man, I'm already there.
But they're like fucking at like 35. Yeah. When they immigrate, they immigrated here, and then it's like, we're in our Greek communities anyway.
Yeah,
so
I guess so. It was just different back then. It was different.
It's different.
Yeah, it's very Greek. They just stick with their communities, and I think that's a lot of migrants that came in all country. They
just dropped into suburbs.
They all live together in their suburbs, and they just stick together.
My nonno could speak Greek better than he can speak English because he would just work with Italians and Greeks. He could speak Italian, obviously. He could speak Greek, but then he only started learning English like properly, like writing, when he was like 70 because he just never needed to use it. Everyone around him was Italian and Greek, so that was it.
Whereas Cyprus is completely different. So Cyprus is governed by the Commonwealth, so they all speak English.
There you go.
When you go there.
Wow.
Tip for travellers?
Fluent in English. All of them. They learn it in school.
Was that a question on your exam yesterday?
No, Cyprus is fucking a different country. But
I didn't know that.
They speak English over there, like proper. Even like, So you don't. Whereas in Greece, they're we went there to Athens, and Mum's like, they're like, this is the one cousin that speaks English, and he doesn't speak English. He knows about 24 words.
It's the same thing. They're like, this is your cousin Charlie from Australia. He speaks Greek, and they're like, nah, he doesn't speak Greek.
I reckon my Greek and his English are probably similar.
Yeah.
It's
One of my cousins over there learnt bits of Greek from South Park. So he's speaking Greek, and then he's like, you remember Timmy? The character Timmy?
No
He's
way.
speaking Greek, and he's like,
he's got a Timmy accent.
You watch South Park? No, he doesn't have a Timmy accent. Like, he's asking you in Greek. He's like, you watch South Park at all? I learned how to speak bits of Greek from there. Like, yeah, it's funny. And he's like, Timmy.
Timmy.
So it's like all in between speaking Greek. He just throws them in there. Like,
Timmy.
I actually need to go back and watch more South Park.
No, you need to because
They
you're
stay-
understanding.
And they stay up to date,
Up
don't
to
they?
date
They
with the
do,
current
but when you're
political
15 and
stuff.
you watch it, you're like, this is just crude. But then when you fucking
I
our
never
age and watch it,
actually-
you get a bit more of an understanding.
You know culture, yeah. What's going on?
It's
yeah.
fucking funny.
We interrupt this program from word from our sponsors, which is a new sponsor, Three Kings Wealth Management, which is a financial company and financial advice that help people like these two lads improve their financial position long term and set themselves up for their future. They actually use the services though, so it's a proper ad. How's it all going?
That's
boys?
lads.
These two lads.
These
That's
two
some
lads.
sort of profile. What do you think
Adsley.
I don't know about
Been
money?
watching Spanion.
Adsley.
You think I don't know about money? Well, you're right. That's why I hired a financial advisor. And it was the best thing I've done, that's for sure. Ryan, I think with it all, like the biggest thing that I was worried about, money, saving, whatever, is I couldn't live a life. You know what I mean? But I know if I said to Ryan tomorrow, my dream is to buy an AMG and 2 jet skis, he would lay out a plan for me to do that. Obviously, in a responsible manner, not just dropping that and dropping my other goals to maybe buy a house or develop a retirement fund or whatever, you know. So I love that, and it's been a big help, and I know I'll get that AMG one day.
So for me, I'm a bit of a stress head around money. I like to have a plan, and working with Ryan, I've been able to implement a plan to actually achieve what I want to do, which is get a Gucci tracksuit. But in all seriousness, I like to have a plan. I like to be on, just like with training, you got a plan, you got some goals. this is what we're doing to achieve it. And, when you deviate a little bit from the goals, you get back on plan and you're set to get there. So,
Well, he did put one more thing in for this ad read, which is that his books are actually full, so bad luck, suckers.
Yeah.
But he did say that if you listen to the podcast, they will open their books. So let him know
That you know a guy.
Yeah, let him know that you know a couple of us, us
couple
lads.
dirty Cypriots from the Strength Culture podcast.
And they'll open the books for you. So Three Kings Wealth Management, the links will be in the bio. Thank you very much.
we need to watch more of it, I reckon.
Because I saw when I was, because the Book of Mormon guys.
Yes, hilarious.
So when I was in London with Laura, by the time we got to London, we wish we had just stayed in Scotland. Like, we were loving Scotland that much that we had a car, so we cut 2 days off London and then moved to York for 2 extra days.
Yeah.
Like, we just were chopping days off London. And by the time we got there, we're like, fuck, why did we leave Scotland?
Should have just left from Edinburgh.
So we did nothing in London. We literally walked to the palace, what's it called, Buckingham Palace. We watched a change of the guard, and that was cool. Some horses and shit, like real like cultured stuff. And then we just went shopping, and then we're like, fuck it, let's go to see a stage show, whatever they're called. And we saw Book of Mormon, and I had no idea what I was going into. And Laura's like, I think you'll like it. Like, it's a bit of a laugh, and I got there and it was fucking hilarious. And then I looked into it afterwards. I'm like, oh, it's the South Park guys.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It was so funny.
They're the same guys from Basketball. Basketball. Did you ever watch that show? That movie?
Yeah.
Basketball. That's them.
Have you seen the video of them going to the Oscars? Where Oscars? Grammys. Oscars.
No.
Oscars. They went in dresses and they took a fuckload of acid beforehand. So they went there and there's like the Oscars. Like, you see, it's all the elite. Like, it's like the best of the best. They take it real seriously, whatever else. And you got these two trippers walking through in dresses. And you just see, you guys, they talk about it. What is it? Matt Stone, Trey Barker.
Yeah, that's
and they're
it.
like, the looks that people were giving us. And
Disgust.
you just see, they saw it in videos before. After, sorry. Because they're like, we didn't know what was going on. Like, we had no idea. But after, you see videos of people walking past and like looking down. And I'm like, oh, yuck. Disgusting.
They didn't give a fuck.
They
wouldn't give a shit though.
They don't
Zero.
care.
Yeah.
I love
Zero.
that.
I feel like they would give zero fucks.
Zero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Book of Mormon is really
Book of
funny,
Mormon,
though.
I'd highly. I know it's left Australia, but if you get a chance to see it and you haven't seen it, I would highly
It's
recommend it.
hilarious.
It's really funny. We had a funny thing. I reckon there was a woman who was double loading her cocktails about 4, and she was obviously. I think once it turned into like not religion hate, but they started like one of the songs is like fuck God, and they're like.
It's so fucked.
It's actually funny, but she was like drunk, and then she obviously got offended at something that was said at some point, which there is some offensive shit, but at the end of the day, like, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And she just was like, no, just like and like everyone around her was like, shh, like everyone, and she was fucking tanked, and she was just like, no. Oh, and I had perfect. It was actually quite distracting from the like
show.
watching
Oh,
the
of
show,
course.
and then eventually like her husband was, and she gets up and she's like stumbling down the fucking thing. I'm like, what is going on here? She would have been like 60 years old and just
Hammered.
But so was it in response to something or the fuck God thing?
I reckon it was like because it goes for like
Just
2
very-
hours.
Very
it's just-
provocative.
There's a lot of
Okay.
things they're
So
talking
it was an
about. Like,
accumulation.
yeah, and then eventually, like, every time they'd make a joke, like the crowd would laugh, and like 2 seconds later, she'd be like, "Oh!"
As if she stayed. So we just walked
Yeah,
out.
no, she did leave. She did
There's
leave.
a bit where they're in Africa, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're like talking about cutting off clitorises and stuff.
like real
Like,
like fuck shit. There's a bit in Africa.
there was
they're
so
talking about-
many AIDS jokes.
There was a song about AIDS.
yeah, there was so many
There was a
AIDS
song.
jokes. Like the whole thing is it's South Park. It's
I was
South
about to
Park.
say,
It's
it
fucking-
sounds
There was a
very-
whole song
I
on,
hear Book
on
of Mormon
AIDS.
and I've just written it off.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like a fucking Chronicles of Narnia or some shit.
No, it's about the religion. The book. It's like
It's them trying to recruit like an African town, and they rock up and they're like all happy and like we're gonna get these guys
Oh,
into
yeah.
Mormonism or whatever it is,
And they just slaughter
and then they rock up and there's like a guy with an AK and like what are you talking about? He's like God. He's like that won't help you, and then it just fucking falls apart and everything. Yeah, it's quite funny. It's really good.
It's very funny.
Highly recommend it. If you get an opportunity to see it, yeah, it's cool. And I saw Moulin Rouge as well, so I'm kind of like a stage
is that
guy.
good?
Yeah, it was cool.
Like straight away.
None of them wear shirts.
Culture.
In Moulin Rouge.
None of them.
It's different in
On the
France.
stage.
It's
None of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like crazy.
Yeah, and I've seen a few stage theatres, theatre plays. Theatre.
Yeah.
Well, the last one I did was Harry Potter, which was really, really good. If you like Harry Potter.
I've been watching them all again.
The stage show's impressive the way they do it because I don't really know what to expect when I went, but like all the magic and the way that they have fire and shit coming out of wands, and people are floating, and there was like the sound system they had in there too was fucking like you could feel it.
Yeah.
When they did the time turner,
Thumping.
yeah, it was thumping.
In your soul.
It was good. Aladdin, saw Aladdin, Lion
Charles.
King.
I know. What, you think
Mr.
you're better than me?
Wizard
Mr.
of Oz.
Culture
I want to
over
see
here.
some more.
What
Stage
Like,
have you
shows.
boys seen?
My
We should
favourite's Les Mis. And probably
Oh, Les
second
Miserables.
favourite Cats. I love
did
Cats.
the
But
movie.
also, Les Mis is the number one. Very good.
they did the movie on it.
Yeah.
With Hugh
You got to see it
Jackman.
live.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Les
fucking
Miserables.
Great singing.
Les
Great.
Mis.
Great, just the story, just the energy. It really makes you, like, it really hits, you know? Yeah.
Really hits
Yeah.
home.
You know what? I was thinking while we're here, how the fuck did we get here? And it all came from you reading Greek at the comp.
Yeah,
and then
the
we've
comp.
just
We haven't
gone
even done my
language
comp
Europe.
recap
Let's,
Yeah. So how was your comp recap?
Oh, it was good. Our 690, or 685 total. So my best is 742. But the reason we didn't send it as well, it was I came off 2 weeks, sort of like down week, swing week. I had only trained 1 week, so I've still got 4 weeks left till nationals. So I've still got 3 hard weeks of training left. So there was another reason why we wanted to keep the fatigue low and not cook myself. So pretty comfortable total 685, and now I'm got to train today. I'm squatting again today. So
What are you hoping to hit at nationals? Like,
well, deadlifts are going really well.
you gonna hold the bar this time?
Yeah, because I've gone from hook grip.
Yeah.
Hook grip sucks. I hate
He's
it.
not going bowling anymore.
I'm not going bowling and I'm not hook gripping.
No novel stimulus.
No novel
Forgot about the bowling.
Bowling fatigue.
Bowling with
Look,
Jay.
I
The
When
swear
it was-
forearm flexes bowling
Yeah.
is why you
telling
dropped
you,
it at
it's
pro.
All this action.
The balls are heavy, man.
Why'd you drop that deadlift? I went bowling on Thursday.
2 days before the comp. The mixed grip's the way to go. I pulled 290 triple.
I feel like mixed grip,
It's just better. Grip and
fucking
rip,
got
and you
it.
go. That day I pulled 290 triple. I felt like ass. And the reason
We bullied him into it.
Alex Hayes pulled 290. Alex Hayes will be listening to this because he always listens
Hazy
to
Mom?
it. He pulled 290. And then there was that joke that was saying about doing the team champs, fucking me, Deuce, Chrissy, and Alex.
Trader.
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 I'm a dog.
Sydney Trader.
I wasn't even selected for the strength culture team, so
Well, too bad.
I got one of my
the
mates-
real
Wait,
trader.
this is news to me.
No,
what the
I'm
fuck's
not-
happened here?
We'll
I'm
get to that
not
in a
doing. I'm
second.
not doing team champs. I need a break from
That's fine.
powerlifting after.
We'll talk about that later. But
nationals.
explain your story.
out.
I never was
So
in
you
it.
quit
It
on
was
your
a
team,
crazy. So you pretended
You
to be a
tr-
trader,
and then you quit on the
And then
team.
you quit on that team.
infiltrated their team,
Yeah,
and
just
to
left
quit on
the
them.
team.
I'm a selfish dog. I don't even know.
No, that's good for us. You're not a trader anymore.
Anyway, so
that's some snake-like
Didier
shit.
and Vlad go pull 290. Pull for a few reps, just to let Alex know who the boss is, who the alpha is in the group.
Alex had pulled it like a couple days before or something. Like,
And then so I send it to Alex, and he's like, "Fucking hell!" He's like, "The week I pulled 290, you just." But I'm also a lot heavier than Alex, so it's fun. It's relative.
fuck
Relative.
that.
Anyway,
Mate, there's no
Absolutes, bro.
absolutely.
no dots in the
love
jungle.
Alex.
There's no.
I love Alex. I
No
love Alex.
relativity.
That's too funny.
So 290 for triple, which is good. I pulled 290 on Friday, real easy. So I think there's a big deadlift there.
Fucking
And then I squatted 277.5 at pro roll, really comfortable. So 285 would be nice.
285 is a nice number.
285 would be nice. Obviously, I've been doing a bit of running. I ran 2Ks last night as well. 2K yesterday. So
I saw you doing some
Feel
jumps as
fine.
well.
doing some jumps.
We're athletes
Doing some
now.
jumps.
Everyone's
Actually,
just
you
doing
were
shadow
shadow
boxing.
boxing?
I was shadow boxing.
ready for anything. Do you know the biggest
We do the
thing?
lot. I loaded my shadow boxes though week one. I just
You
need to put
loaded
that.
it?
I
Tell,
loaded
tell
it
us,
in.
tell us how you
that.
pull up tomorrow.
Yeah, that uppercut though is deadly.
Shadow
Deadly.
boxing is nice.
Straight through the middle.
Bit of
It's funny because like
momentum,
a lot of like just people who are very far removed from the strength culture community, like just random friends of mine or even good friends of mine who just aren't really into like training, they'll be like, "Does anyone like shadow box your gym?" And I'm like, "Nah, no one really does that." But now we can say, "Yeah, the owner does. My boss does."
You're gonna do it in the mirror.
You got it.
I need to learn some
You
nice
gotta
stuff.
Sorry,
look at-
I'm
you gotta-
new to it.
You gotta
I'll
look
yeah.
at yourself. No, if we're going that way, you gotta look at yourself.
And I need
deep
a
in the
hoodie.
eyes.
And you need to be sweating.
I need a
Yeah.
hoodie. You need to be
AirPods.
sweating.
Yeah.
Get the Mike Tyson twist in.
That was good.
That was very mobile of you.
It brings up so I did a little Q&A yesterday. I actually did an anonymous Q&A for the first time.
The first question was
First
great.
question was, do you have a fat or a thick, no, what was it? A thick or a long cock? And I was like,
Both.
fuck it up. And then about 2 hours later, Jason Stuber's like, yeah, that was me. I'm like,
no shit.
thanks, Stupers.
Anonymous questions.
Yeah. But
Fuck me.
one of the questions was, what was your favorite thing about Culture 1.0? But this topic, because at the old gym we used to have that upstairs area that
Yeah.
was like a fucking sweat box,
The sauna.
and we never did anything up there. We built the little office for us to work in, which was probably half the size of this
Fart
little potty.
box.
Yeah, little
That
fart
was
box.
tiny, yeah.
Charlie used to literally shit in there. It was
You,
fucked.
mate, you as well. I think all of us.
Nah,
both of you did.
I
Both of
remember
you
there was
did.
one time. This was the closest I've ever been to cracking you, Charlie. I walk up there and you're in there with Harry.
Yeah.
Remember
I
his
think
name,
you were
Harry?
farting. I'm
Harry
still
the
convinced
dog.
you were farting.
Oh, bro, you're in there for hours. He had one of his fucking ox dicks or whatever the fuck he eats. He's chewing on that. You're in there. We all know what
Charlie's
you're
farting,
like.
Harry's farting.
Yeah. And
Just a fart
I
box.
walk in there and I sit down and work for 5 minutes and it fucking stinks. Like it already stinks in there.
Just to add some context, that room had zero ventilation,
Nothing.
like no gaps, just a little
Zero.
hot box of fart.
It was up high in
It
the
was
factory.
about 8 meters high, right on a fucking tin roof.
It was also the side that the sun hit. So that was the side the sun was on. So it would just hit and it would just fucking get hot. And then you throw a couple farts in there and they just stick.
Oh, fuck, a couple.
And this
I
guy,
was in
I know
there.
he used to fart in there.
Bro,
I'd walk in
no,
on
for
bro.
sure.
He's
Sure,
been
but
there
he'd
for
say
hours.
He'd say, I'll drop my ass.
Jamie
Or he'd
says it
walk in
straight
and say,
away.
I'm going to drop my ass. I'm sitting there for 5 minutes trying to tolerate like, the thick musk that was in there. And I'm like working. I'm like, oh my God, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Oh, fuck this, I'm leaving. And like, I didn't say it. I stood up and Charlie's like, did you fart?
Bro, it was when you walked in.
Bro.
It started to smell like ass.
Oh my God. Maybe because you just got a whiff of oxygen.
Right.
And then you're like, all right, that's what oxygen
While we're
smells like.
piling on Charlie, I'm going to pile on old school Charlie here as well with the Culture 1.0 story. I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before, but it's fucking hilarious. So we get into the gym one day, and I come into the gym. It's like 10 a.m. And I'm like, Charlie, is that bird shit on the ground?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking around the office. And I'm like, there's bird shit everywhere. And Charlie's like, yeah, man, I wanted to show you. So I left it. I'm like, mate, just fucking take a photo of it and clean the bird shit up. There was shit everywhere. I'm like, what are you fucking doing,
got
man?
it. Actually, that was like at the comp last year, mate. Remember the bird got in and we were fucking trying to get the bird out?
Yeah.
Oh, that took a while.
Yeah.
The next Charlie 1.0.
Yeah.
Man, whatever, I don't know what version we're up to now, but we're in the car rolling up to Chatty for Didier to take us to Ballarat. We're literally about to park, like 5 meters in. And he drops his ass, like, gotcha.
He's like, I'll leave this one for later.
I'll leave this one for later. And I'm like, you fuck.
There's nothing wrong with farting. Let's get it out. My brother's godfather, he's an annoying Greek, taught me this lesson once. He's like, if it ain't paying rent, you can get the fuck out. And that was just,
Fucking hell.
And that you've
I let
lived
it
your
out.
whole
I
life.
lived my whole life on that. Nah, I like farting.
Crazy,
Get it out.
man.
Get it out.
Cathartic.
Huh? You let him. Don't worry. You act all fucking high and mighty over
Not when
there.
there's 4
Yeah.
people in the fucking car.
I was good at the beach the other day. I was farting heaps. Out in the open,
Out in the
bit of
open,
wind.
different story.
Just
Yeah, that's
go.
great.
You just don't ever
Ventilation,
know.
yeah.
Sea breeze. All right, we've got to get this off Charles.
Yeah, I know.
What have you boys been up to?
Get it off ass.
Get it off specifically farts. Fuck me.
What have you boys been up to? What's news?
What is news? I'm doing some jumps and throws. If you've seen the videos, I'm not very springy, but we're working on it. It's cool to be shit at something. Not that I'm shit at a lot of things, but it's cool to do something. And not that I'm perfect at everything. But like I'm not great at everything. But it's fun to do something you're bad at, like the throws. I'm not kind of fumbling around.
You had a
trying
bit
to
of
work it
power
out.
on that ball yesterday.
Looked all right.
I think you're a bit
power.
close to the wall. It's a bit dangerous. That
Yeah.
ball's coming back with
You
some
gotta be
speed.
Further out. Oh, actually, like I dead set want like feedback. So if you any
You
feedback,
gotta get your
let me
arms
know.
going and your ankle jumps.
All right, yeah. I watched myself back. I'm like, something looks off here.
I'll give you one thing. You suck at skipping, man. I saw that little skipping video you put up. That was fucking something else.
No, here's the thing.
It looked like you had lead boots on.
Me and Todd are skipping. Todd is great at crisscross. I'm great at double unders. I can smack double unders.
Great.
Fine. But as soon as I go crisscross, I suck. I'm great at double unders.
Great at double
Look,
unders.
From doing
Great's a big word.
We're going to have to see some double
right.
unders.
From 3 sessions in, the first session, I was good at double unders. Todd was good at crisscross. Maybe not great, but better than Todd. That's my reference point. But Todd is good at crisscross. But when I do crisscross, I look extremely uncoordinated. My body's flapping around. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to practice. I'm going to get better, but I currently suck at the fucking crisscross.
Yeah.
I just watched the video. It's just that ankle jumps.
Yeah, talk to me. All right.
No, it's just your ankle jumps.
Are you talking about little pogos?
Yeah,
little-
pogos,
yeah.
pogos. You just need to get your arms going a bit. Feed the jump.
Arms.
So like,
I heard that
We'll talk
cue
about it downstairs.
when we were doing the exercise library, and I loved that cue for jumping. Your arms feed the movement.
Yeah.
So if you want to jump high, they need to be moving.
Yeah.
I thought it, and I was like, that is the easiest way I've ever heard it. So shouts out.
McInnes Watson does them
I
with
think I made it up. Don't worry about McInnes Watson. I think I made it up.
Nah, he does them with a 1 or 2 kilo med ball to help momentum on the way up and then to yield on the way down.
Yeah, nice.
Feed it.
Nice.
Yeah, my
Feed
arms
it.
look like they didn't know where to be. I'm like,
Feed
I don't know
it,
what I'm
mate.
doing wrong
Feed
here.
it.
It's all right.
Yeah. We have an exclusive offer. Thursday the 10th, the day that the podcast is released. If you DM one of the coaches to inquire for coaching, we will offer you your first fortnight free. You must inquire today. This is for our loyal listeners who are listening to the podcast the day it comes out. First fortnight's free. DM us today to secure your spot.
We need a basketball ring so we can dunk.
Talk about it downstairs, all right?
We'll go through it.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fun. Yeah, just some hops, some jumps, some throws.
Is the end goal is to get some more rebounds, is it?
I like to get more rebounds. I need to get some airtime.
Dennis Rodman over here.
Dennis Rodman. No, 3 rebounds would be mad. I'm short, especially for basketball. I'm short as it is. Basketball, I'm even shorter. So we need to get some airtime to get some rebounds.
Go get those offensive boards.
Offensive, defensive,
Use your body.
you name it. Use my body. I've got to use my body, but
Use your body,
also
man.
you can't really use your body when guys are like way taller than you. You got to
you're
get
stuck
in
to
the
the
air.
floor.
You've got to get in the
Ah,
air.
you
Get those
fucking-
You've gotta
flippers.
get in the air.
Get those
Gotta
tunneling,
flippers
get some
going.
tunneling going.
Punch them in the back of the head.
And I'm smacking some seated calf raises.
Step on their feet.
I've been loving the seated calf raise machine. I do 1 rep. I'm like, oh yeah, there's my calves. I feel like with standing ones, I do like 10 reps. I'm like, I don't know if I felt anything. With the seated ones, I'm like,
How are you doing
bang.
your standing ones?
On the pendulum, I used to do them.
Do them one leg,
Yeah,
way better.
way better. Crazy.
Yeah, one leg changed my
So you're
life.
doing them for one leg for ages.
I was for a period, then I went back, and then yeah, I haven't done them for a while though.
One
Seated's
leg,
better.
you AMRAP standard, just isotonically, isometrically, as long as you can, then you do eccentrics. If you
Yeah,
want a calf
force
pump,
eccentrics. Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
You have to. You
I
have to.
finished-
You got to like. They don't respond like any other muscle. I don't care what anyone says.
They're different.
They're
different.
They're just they are different.
different.
Jack Edwards as well. He the metamorphosis track
Metamorphosis.
project. Sent me some sick shit on like calf loading, like UK athletics. The things that
UK,
they
brother.
do to their calves, it's like they could just go through it. Like they go through, and they have to go through it. And I think if you want big calves, or even just like robust calves,
I want
for
robust
fucking
calves, yeah.
athletic performance, bro, you can hammer them daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should hammer them daily. Honestly, we were joking like
Yeah, what is
got
this?
them out of
What
calves.
is this new?
What's
another
the Greek phrase?
Greek phrase, but color. What was
You
it?
sound disappointed.
No, but
Oh,
color.
another fucking Greek phrase.
No,
Greeks, fucking Greeks.
because I can't remember all of them. It's a color. It was color.
Kalimeta.
Cathay meta calves.
Yeah, I knew it. It
We
was
need to
similar
find
to
out-
Kali
we need to
Meta.
find out the word for calves in Greek.
What's a
No,
baby
but it's
cow?
nice because I feel like
What's a baby cow in Greek? That's what it is.
no, but I feel
I
like
don't know.
the reason it works is because the K, Cathay, and calves is the same.
What's it
F
called?
was
An
calves.
alliteration?
Alliteration, brother.
Alliteration.
Rolls off the tongue and that.
Don't think it's in
Alliteration.
I feel like
It's
calves
in
in
there.
Greek would be something else.
Yeah.
Throw it off.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like the
just
hybrid.
everyday calves.
With the standing calf raises, just quickly touch on it. My protocol is go to failure, like
That's a mad word.
protocol.
by the
No,
way. Yeah.
go to failure, concentric failure, and then I stand in a concentrically shortened position to failure, ISO, and then I go just off the ground to failure, ISO.
That's mad.
Another 30, 40 seconds on each. Calf is sizzled.
Tension.
Sizzled. Well done.
Just sizzle them.
You just sizzle them.
Honestly, I reckon.
And then the next thing we're going to do is the rebound. Train the tendon.
yeah, try the band on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to start, so, because we talk about like for hypertrophy, like going silent controlled load muscle, but for sprinting, running,
You need a bit of bounce,
training
yeah.
the tendon as well. So doing them with the bounce.
How's your ankle and stuff? Because I see you've been running again a little bit. Are you getting some more clearance? Are you?
Yeah. Clearance.
Coming together?
Yeah, bits and pieces. No, he's like. So there's guidelines. Yeah, I think the dance school, the Australian dance school, or whatever it is, it's 30 calf raises cleared to do like full plyometrics, whatever else. Like that's what the guideline is. So it goes for
Like
for
single leg?
running, single leg.
Yeah.
They do a 2 up, 2 down tempo for 30. I'm not near that, but
Is anyone near that?
I don't know. Dancers are
Dancers.
apparently
Dancers,
because they're
yeah.
on point.
They also
like-
weigh about 50 kilos.
I reckon like
They would be strong as fuck, no
like,
doubt.
fully on point. Like they're
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
Yeah, Hannah
it's
reckons they've all
hectic.
got massive calves.
No, they'd be
Dancers,
strong
yeah.
as nuts.
Ridiculous. But yeah, 30, 2 up, 2 down, like that's their standard. For running, I'm pretty sure Dan said it was like 20 to 30 you get cleared for. Similar tempo, not too. Because the guidelines are just guidelines. So if you are hammering calves, you can go run and then just go off pain symptoms. Did like 3 15-minute exposures. It was fine. And then I was like, fucking,
Did 6 hours.
we'll nudge it a little bit. So the recovery was fine. Just did 2 half-hour blocks. Like I tried to beat the minutes from week 1 to week 2, just overall minutes. 2 half-hour stints instead. And it's been recovering fine. Like fine. So I'm just going to keep doing the 2 half-hour runs. Like I'm not going to build volume up because I think just with each exposure, I'm running faster. And that's going to be enough of a change in stimulus. Because I think that's, like, for us especially, like, both 100 kilos plus and just getting back into running. Like, you don't need to change
You don't
anything.
need much, yeah.
Nothing. And, like, I mean, put on stories and that, but I haven't said, like, why. But no pace.
I was going to ask this. Exactly. I
Yeah.
literally was going to ask this, yeah.
Like, no pace. Pace, like, will skits you out. Because you're like, oh, I did fucking 6-minute Ks last week and I got to push for more, whatever else. Like, nah, just be in the moment.
It'll
you know
accumulate.
what I mean?
Accumulate, don't annihilate.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like the RPE thing. It's like with it, your intuition is actually bang on. Like, it's really close. So I was curious. I was like, I'll rock the heart rate strap as well. And then the Garmin also averages out the pace. And then I'll go 5, 6 out of 10, just look at the timer and then see how my pace based off feel looks, like consistency wise. And then same with my heart rate. Like, they're not the determinants of what I'm doing at the moment, just by RPE. And it was bang on. Like, my average pace was fairly similar the entire time. Obviously, as I warmed up, it came up a little bit. But my average heart rate, same thing, came up a little bit, but it was level for like 25 minutes. So I'm just going to rock that. 5, 6 out of 10. Funny. Thomas Vale, he messaged me. He's like, so how are you gauging 5 to 6 out of 10? I'm like, oh, conversational. And he's like,
With who?
with who? So you called me on my run the other day.
Yeah.
And I
he
was
held
talking
it.
to you. I was like, oh, sweet. I had my headphones on. Anyway, I was like, a thought came to me. You said something about cadence. So running cadence,
Yeah.
apparently in a quicker run, or not a run, a jog, you're going to be about 180 steps
This
per
is
minute.
coming from Wilco.
All right.
So
The authority on all
Wilco
things
has
running.
been doing. Wilco comes in Thursday morning. We chat 'cause he's been running heaps, and he's been he's reading obviously the right shit because he's saying all the same stuff we're saying. So I back Wilco in.
maybe we're wrong.
Do
Do you remember? So we're going way back here, Charlie. Remember when Lululemon
Yeah.
shouted us a hot air balloon because
Yeah.
they wanted to sponsor us?
And what'd you say?
We said they wanted to come do a team sweat at the gym. And I said, that's fine, but we're going to have to run an assessment. This is like when I was like on my high and mighty high horse about
Assessment.
like, we are going to run the best fucking gym ever in Australia. Australia's never seen a gym like this before.
Assessment.
And they're like, we want to bring 20 girls down, use your gym, and then maybe from there we can chat about like a partnership. And I was like, yeah, they can come, but we have to run a one-on-one assessment with everyone and to get them in for training. And because like we want to do like set the standard. And
Do it
shit.
the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah. And I could hear the flame of the document partnership just burning behind as they were
we
lighting
could
it on
easily do a
fire.
team sweat now.
But yeah, if
if you're looking for a team sweat, come on down.
If you want to come back and partner with the boys, let
Apparently
us
their
know.
shorts are mad.
Yeah,
I had a
training
couple
short
pairs.
shorts.
I had
they're about $600 though.
They gave us
I heard they're
$500
actually-
to spend there. So my duffel bag,
Did you
I got
get
to
2 pairs of shorts?
I got a duffel bag. Lululemon's like $220.
Yeah.
Still use it. Cracker.
I'll use that too.
Yeah, the duffel bag.
Yeah.
But I had a couple pairs of their shorts, but I don't know. I feel like when I moved a couple times, I was like, Claire, I don't need those because I wasn't wearing them. I hadn't worn them for years, but now I'm like, oh, maybe I could have kept them.
But coming back to the hot air balloon, we went on this hot air balloon ride, and there was a guy called Paul McKinnon. Do you remember Paul McKinnon?
the running guy.
He's called the Balanced Runner. He's in our corner.
yeah.
Do we set up a training vlog, Donny? Send these boys down the track
Oh, I reckon we do that.
with a professional running
Get
coach
him on the podcast.
because his
100%.
idea is cadence is wrong. This is where we come through.
I'm happy to
His
learn.
is it's all about rhythm and tempo of upper and low, like what you're actually, and whatever cadence comes out of that.
Yeah.
But it's all like body tempo and sequencing and
Oh, we'll suss him out.
and all of that sort of stuff. He's a
balanced
weapon
runner.
though. He works with like AFL clubs and like like Ironman.
Get him
and
on the podcast.
He's got like absolutely. He might be a really good. Maybe that's
Now, the Lululemon thing. There was also a guy that played for Carlton on there that I met. There was
Oh, so you actually did the air balloon in the end.
That was
Yeah.
that was like the start of the smooching of like, yeah, we like what you guys are about. and
we got
blah, blah, blah.
invited to 2 things: a cocktail party.
Did you go to both?
At the store when the
Fucking
new
oath you went to the
Chatston store?
cocktail party.
Because Chatston, the new renovations opened at the end of October 2016, so we got invited to that, the new store, and then also invited to a hot air balloon.
Well, yeah. So you rewarded them, and then they got nothing out of you.
And they didn't get a team shirt.
Connection building. We met the other guys. Who's that bodybuilder we
Yeah,
met?
the bodybuilding that does the
candles.
naked candle making. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah,
The Bear Bros.
One from Doherty's.
The Bear
Yeah,
Bros.
the Bear
Yeah,
Bros.
he's like Mr. Australia,
full
in some-
bodybuilder.
in some of one of the competitions. But
And his wife as well.
I reckon we're due for another hot air balloon ride. Have you been on one before?
I think about Zari. Would you some naked candle?
No, I'm good. I'm good in that department.
I've never been on a head.
All right, 2023. We're going to get on a hot air
fuck
balloon.
that. I'm good. Nikita, where'd Cappadocia booked? We were supposed to
That's
go.
what they do.
What
the
is
hot-
Cappadocia?
It's in Turkey.
It's like in the middle of Turkey.
They do the hot air balloon.
Oh,
Doing
that-
that again. It was literally like 3 days of travel to get there. It's fucking.
Do the hot air
middle
balloon.
of She wanted to do the hot air balloon. Like, it's an unbelievable city and wanted to do that. I'm like, yeah, done. We'll do it.
We're not going to Turkey anymore.
Nah, but also
It's on the brink of
fuck
war.
that. That's
Really?
It's a
Greece
small
and
box.
Turkey, yeah.
Oh, do you get claustrophobic?
Nah,
Or the height?
It's more the height.
The height?
Yeah. I get claustrophobic as well, but I don't think the box would worry me when I'm
Was
that high up.
Did the height wig you, or did you just drink enough for not to worry?
No, we
the
weren't
cocktail
drinking.
party
No,
was
they were
separate.
2 separate
Oh,
events.
okay.
No, the hot air balloon. No, I thought it was all right. I actually
I
quite.
liked the
I'll
hot
be
air
honest.
balloon.
I actually thought it was a bit boring.
Well, you
Didn't like the view?
You get up
The view wasn't
there.
good?
You get up there. It's
and,
nice.
and you're up there with like it's me and Charlie. There was like 8 of us maybe in our little pod, like basket.
Yeah.
And and after you've spent like an hour on the ground with them, and then you spend like an hour in the air. Like conversation had kind of died, and me and Charlie were just like, all right, what the fuck are we like? What is going on here?
It's nice.
Just brought
You
headphones.
got to also remember we were 23. This is right at the start. We were young, like. Lululemon's trying to not partner with us, but they wanted to do stuff with
Yeah.
us. They wanted to diversify their men's branding away from just like the yoga things. They're like, oh, maybe, and actually Chris Cannon, I don't know if you guys know Chris Cannon, but he ended up like, and Life Hub and all that. And I think he still works with them and he does a lot of work with them. They were trying to like diversify their men's range a little bit and they wanted some more strength stuff and all that. But we were like 23, like just started like, what the fuck is going on?
We were also very heavily down, like powerlifting.
Like, yeah, strength training,
like
like,
cardio.
Yeah.
Like that was
yeah.
because we'd also come from that. We were finding ourselves because we'd come from
We're still
our
finding
old
ourselves.
job, sweaty, and where it was very like middle-aged mum group fitness classes, and we were trying to get away. Like we're doing powerlifting, strength, structured programs. This guy's slamming assessments. He's come from Cressy, where we
Measuring joint angles.
were measuring joint angles. Protractors were out. But no, we were, and so we had no idea what the fuck. Like, I feel like if they approach us now,
Absolutely.
we're 30, a bit
Yeah, we're
more
corporate shills now.
life.
All we do is sell out on the daily.
Hang on, guys. We interrupt this podcast for a word from our sponsors. Lululemon just got in contact. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to that next hot air balloon. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take them for a quick yog. Go for a yog. Some shadow
I
boxing
reckon
in
the training.
alleyway.
I reckon down Duncan McKinnon, we'll get Paul McKinnon, and we'll
Do a vlog.
Duncan McKinnon with Paul McKinnon. But
What a collab.
we'll hit
Yeah,
the
collab.
hit a running vlog.
Let's do it.
Real Mark Bell spec.
Yeah.
Do these ones?
Shirts off, a little
He's got
side running.
full Weck. We can't get up to that. We've got to get less rational. Balanced runner sounds like, even it's in the name, balanced runner is too rational.
Too
We
rational?
need someone extreme.
Yeah.
Someone
I
extreme.
know the GOATA boys.
Yeah, but
That's
someone
the
in Melbourne. We need an extreme.
There'll be a Melbourne GOATA somewhere.
Surely.
Absolutely.
Fuck are the
Yeah.
GOATA
You don't know
boys.
who GOATA is?
Nah.
Oh wow!
Greatest of all
So
time.
GOATA, yeah. So
Goated.
Gouda.
I can't remember his actual name. He's like a sprint coach.
Yeah.
In America somewhere, and he's very old. Classify him as very chalk. He's like the Italian American version
Yeah.
of what a chalk would be. He's got a heavy, thick accent,
Yeah.
and he's very dogmatic in his approach to educating people on his GOATA methods. So GOATA stands for greatest of all time, and they use still frame pictures of people running. So like they'll and they're like, you got to find this position, and it's like a toe off position. Heel is out. That's one of their things. It's not foot flat and rolled in. It's heel is out. And like the alignment of the joints, and they talk about spirals and all of this sort of shit.
Fibonacci.
Yeah, Fibonacci sequence.
sequences and shit.
And everything.
And there's like heel wedges and like all this like, and it's just so much jargon and spiral, and he's in the corners and doing all this stuff. But as a result, as the industry likes, when people get real dogmatic and really say they have the answers, the herd just comes following and fucking starts sucking. So they've got a massive following now. They work with pro athletes, and it's actually crazy what they've ended up building. But he's more of the irrational thought, I would have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The Mark Bell being
Not
Mark
reasoned.
Bell is on the pursuit
Of the irrational.
I don't know, knowledge, performance, whatever the fuck he thinks he's
The
on
answer.
on the pursuit for receipt paper.
BP
paper.
BPAs?
Yeah.
PAs.
So he's like between Weck and GOATA and whatever else, and that's where he's doing some of the different
The little
shit now.
spirally stuff.
Running, I thought he was taking the piss.
Same.
You got to follow. You got to follow David Weck.
You got to follow Weck. So Angus is trying to get Weck on his podcast.
Apparently, he smoked a pound of weed and had it all figured out.
That's the answer.
So he's done with it.
You got to get to a pound.
He's done.
So
He
for
just
those-
smoked and then he's done with it, and now he figured out his
What do you mean he figured what out?
Everything.
figured it out.
Figured life out?
Yeah.
Spirals.
I don't know if I can say this, but he doesn't look like a. Doesn't look like.
That's
That's not it. Yeah, it's not it.
Thanks for the warning. But
That's
yeah.
out. All right.
Yeah.
You
I know what
tried?
you mean. But David Weck. So David Weck is a long
That can
time.
go. That can go in the.
That's going in the Discord.
That's a
secret
Discord
content.
one. Yeah.
If you want to hear that, jump in the Discord.
Secret content.
No,
Sorry.
David Weck is a long time fitness. He's been in and around he actually created the Bouz ball. And Woodford has actually had a really big public beef with David Weck.
I know Woodford hates the Bouz ball.
Of course, because Woodford once asked me to buy my Bozu ball so he could do a video of him stabbing the Bozu ball. I'm like, Woody, we don't use it, but at some point someone's going to be like, oh, there's a Bozu ball here. So we still have the Bozu ball.
Do we?
Yeah.
It's under the staircase,
It's under the
I think.
staircase.
We've never used it.
Yeah, but one day
In the old
the
gym,
way-
it had dust
I
on
think
it.
the way we're going,
The way we're going, the
ball's going
Bozu-
to come back out.
Charlie, just wait. Once you get into those
you're going to
fucking
be requesting
5Ks,
you didn't
ankle
that
stability?
Bozu, just like you
Yeah.
have with every other thing
can't
I've
throw
given
anything
away
out
in the
again.
last 12 months.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Like, that box, it's gone. Hey, what about these hurdles? No, get rid of it. We're done with it.
Everything.
And now everything we want
We
back.
need hurdles.
Yeah. So anyway,
There you go,
David
Moff
Weck.
Jared.
So
Jared.
David Weck's been around for a long time. Created the Bozu ball. He himself has come out and said that this thing has not been used for what I intended it to be used for. It's been bastardized and all of that sort of stuff. But he sort of went away for a little bit, and now he's resurfaced and he's coming back, and he's got a few little tools, I would say. One of them are these little shakers that you'll see Mark Bell running with, and it's for cadence on downstroke of your running stride. So when your foot hits the ground, you shake it. You shake the thing down. It's meant to apply force quicker because you're hearing the rhythm of the shakers, and it's like turning your feet over faster and at more, I guess, better rhythm and more power. So you'll see Mark Bell running with them, these little shaker things. So that's the first thing. He's got these skipping ropes that you're meant to spiral around your body and stuff to transition your center of mass.
All that. I was like,
Yeah.
this kind of looks like a fucking
So now it's all
Roadrunner.
going to start making sense. So you're transitioning your center of mass, and he calls it your head. You've got to move your head over the plant foot. So that's why Mark Bell's doing these running sides
and tilting his head.
Mark Bell's become a full runner.
Mark Bell's trying to work out what the fuck the purpose of all of it is. He's performance hunting. He's whatever the
Is what we're doing.
hunting performance. You said it.
But he's also, I saw, he's also back benching on the slinger.
The
Oh,
slinger.
is he back on the
I saw
slinger?
him benching on the slingshot. He says he's trying to work up to his bench. He benched like 220 in the slingshot.
Crazy.
Gone are his days of chasing the 600-pound bench. He was also
It broke my
He was
heart
a-
when
he was a big boy
when he
then.
finally gave up chasing 600 pounds. He was at 585. And he tried it 4 times, and every time he'd just get injured. He'd lean down, and then he'd be like, all right, I'm going to bench 600. He'd put on a lot of weight, and then he just knew what happened. I'm like,
I feel like I'm
so
there with
close,
180.
180,
I
that's
just
your
don't-
number.
I'm at the point where
You need bigger triceps, man.
well, I've been doing dips.
Chest dips are back.
Dips and JM press. I'm back on the JM press.
I think you were always on it.
I think I was always on it.
you never
Nah,
left
JM,
it.
you know what? I'm going to give Big JM some really nice credit here. He commented on our reel. He
commented on a bunch of stuff.
A really constructive paragraph on here's some tips to help you with the JM press. He wasn't a dickhead. He didn't get fucking defensive. He just fucking here's some, and he gave some good tips. And I actually implemented some of the tips, and the JM press felt better.
Funny that.
The guy who invented it knows how to do the exercise.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying is because JM, he acted like a normal adult. He didn't be stupid.
Yeah.
And he helped me. And he won. He got another disciple.
He done be silly.
He done be silly.
JM.
And now I'm JM pressing way better. Nah, his one was the cue was the motorbike out of it. So you curl your wrist like that, and then you motorbike out.
Oh, yeah.
There's a motorbike out of it.
That is
So
a good external cue.
It's a good
Yeah.
external cue, and it worked well.
Wavelengths, external cues.
And then also he said to focus on pushing your shoulders up to shorten the chest, so it just becomes all tricep.
Mate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny that.
They were
JM
his
knows
two-
what he's
they were
talking
his
about.
They were his two
Fucking
cues.
oath.
But I definitely found when I did that, the curling like that, it helped with the elbow pain. So I think if you're letting your wrist go back like that,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, a bit of forearm to hold it.
starts to
Hold some
fucking, yeah.
tension. Funny that you say JM responded really well on all of that, because we got so many comments across all, because we put it everywhere. YouTube was thrashing us. TikTok was thrashing. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Fucking blah, blah, blah.
Turns out we didn't.
We didn't.
I think a lot of people. I understand why a lot of people have felt that way with JM press because it can be pretty nasty on the elbows. It is quite. There's delicate. It's delicate. It's technical. It's technical.
And it fucks your elbows. Let's be honest. I'm still on it. It fucks your elbows.
There's a lot of
it fucks your elbows because you don't know how to do it, JM. You got to take the time to learn from JM himself.
JM taught me.
JM, but we will if we ever get an opportunity to get JM on the potty. I reckon
we'll get him on.
Absolutely.
So what was
we'll try and get him.
What did we cop?
See if he wants to come.
We just copped all. We copped it. Jamie summed it up. It turns out we didn't know what we were doing.
It's good. I love it.
We learned.
Elbow boosters. It's
now
fantastic.
We know. It's elbow boosters, but also there was a lot of people saying you got to do it on the Smith machine.
Well, everyone was saying you got to do it,
which means you're not doing a JM press.
It's not a JM press anymore. That's a Smith machine JM press.
Smith machine close.
Or you got to use dumbbells. You got to use
dumbbells. You got to do it like this. You got to.
What's the crux of all of it? Do whatever the fuck.
Do whatever works for you.
Whatever the really works for you. There's no right or wrong way, but I did get some help off JM.
Well, whilst we're on the powerlifting old school,
I was gonna say it. Before we wrap up,
I thought I'm the one that didn't do it.
Shut your fucking mouth.
The 180 bench.
No,
we'll see what I do in nationals, but I'm just at that point now where I'm like, I'm not going to try and hunt it next year.
You got to build the garden.
I'm going to build the garden. I'm going to do more pressing with dumbbells, more dips,
more yoga,
and
skull
slam
crushers.
that new Nautilus fucking overhead press machine.
Yeah, I'm going to slam that. I'm going to take a little bit of a break away from hunting comp bench, and then return to it later. And I'll probably have a little bit more drive and hunger to do it.
So you're quitting powerlifting?
Yeah, that's what I'm
This is the announcement right now.
Quitting powerlifting. No, I'll probably my bench variation like we spoke will probably be like a feet up.
I reckon,
a little bit more flat
full
back.
wrong.
But then just really try and build the muscles that are responsible for the bench.
I reckon train a flat back, feet up bench, like a hook lying bench, like you would, like hit singles and triples and shit, and like turn it into a fucking monster. And then just transition back. And I reckon
we might get the protractor out.
Yeah.
I think we got to.
Yeah.
Join angles.
Absolutely.
We got to optimize them angles.
But now that we can transition to the final topic, which is a question that we got from the Discord. And the bridge here is the Mark Bell, the JM, the Louis
JM
Simmons.
was a Westside lifter.
Yeah, the Louis Simmons influence.
As was Mark Bell at one stage.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I have seen, whether or not it's just our community, I think your coach is also influenced with the bands and all of that sort of stuff. But I've seen a little bit of a phoenix, just a surgence of Louis Simmons-esque training around the place. Someone was asking me, do I have more chains? I want to buy more chains off us. I was like, fuck. And then I put that video up last night and I was deadlifting with chains at the back. But I think there's some air that we need to clear about. What is conjugate style? What is Westside training?
Is conjugate
Westside? Because I think there's a bit of confusion for some of the younger lifters that think Westside was true conjugate style, which I don't think it was.
Some of the young whippersnappers.
Conjugate sequencing, I was reading, I wasn't reading it, I was skimming through it. Special strength, whatever the fuck. One of the Verkhoshansky.
I was about to, Zaskrosky or whatever.
Yeah.
Something
one of the Verkhoshansky, the super training author.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the creator of conjugate sequencing.
Yep.
So it's like Westside didn't create it. If you look at the Westside barbell training book or the book of methods or whatever he calls it, you see every reference that he's got in there is from Russian authors, like every single one. Yeah. So he just used those methods and applied athletic training methods and periodization in the powerlifting context. Like that was it.
Yeah.
So,
and labelled as conjugate.
No, it was in super training or special strength.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking
conjugate sequencing.
Yeah,
like, that's what it's called.
We will do some conjugate.
Yeah. That's what it is. And then he obviously popularized bands and chains, accommodating.
So Westside
in powerlifting.
Westside his method was the change every 3 weeks.
Oh, he's got a few, and this is the Westside method. It was the heavy day, light day. It was the accommodating resistance, and it was rotating and keeping high exposure across a number of.
The 3 changing every 3 weeks. What's the idea behind that? What was his idea?
His idea, I can't speak to that because in looking deep into Westside, that's not what I've looked at. You know what I mean? Like I haven't looked into the Westside. I've read through the book or whatever. The way that my coach programs, so like with Westside, you've got max effort, dynamic effort, and then repeated effort method, which is like your capacity work or whatever. So they're the three things you're looking at. So you've got your dynamic effort day, your max effort day. Usually it's the inverse. You do your heavy day at the start of the week, dynamic effort later, and then repeated effort is your hypertrophy, capacity, whatever the fuck you want to call it after that. Okay? So that stuff, the assistance work stays relatively steady until you stop progressing. Yeah? So that stays relatively steady. The main lift will cycle weekly, fortnightly.
Like regularly.
Yeah, like
Weekly.
very regularly. Now, in terms of why Louis Simmons did it, I can't speak to that because I don't know off the top of my head. I know that the way that my coach programs, it makes a lot of sense.
What is your coach? Yeah, what is your coach's
Grant
reasoning?
Fowler, he uses conjugate sequencing. So I'll have a heavy squat day and something that is more biased towards like a load limiting variation or something. So either it'll be more power focused. Everything is to an RP9. So whether you call that power or not, it's probably not. But with that, with the constant cycling of movements, you can hit extremely high intensities very frequently without the need to deload because you're not stressing exactly the same tissues, same patterns. So if you're trying to balance multiple qualities, strength, power, fucking elastic capabilities, hypertrophy, overall capacity, conditioning outside of that, it probably doesn't make sense to be drilling exactly the same tissues so that you can send it across all things. You know what I mean? So for him, that cycles out weekly, which I think it makes sense. I haven't had the need to deload. Again, I'm probably not the strongest I've been, but I haven't felt the need to deload or felt beaten up at all. And then I forgot who it was that asked the question in the Discord, but it was a hybrid. That's it. The question was about when training for concurrent qualities, how the fuck do I fit it all in? And I saw it years ago. It was like Vern Gambetta, this athletic.
Big name.
But he's like sort of underground, but he's been around for ages.
He's been around for like 60 years, man.
Yeah, so he's still plugging. He's like 70 years old, but he's still getting it done. Works with like high school athletes. Like
I got him on Facebook.
Yeah, bro.
And he still writes Facebook blogs.
He's
a weapon.
Old school, like fantastic. Gain, I think it's Gain, Gain, if you want to suss it. Very interesting. They work with a lot of throwers, like that like throwing and athletics in that and track and field. If you want to like have your mind blown, these guys they're just different.
What's their
They're
name?
monsters, man.
They're just track and field is a different.
What's
different ballgame.
what are their names?
We'll talk about it after. Vern Gambetta. Vern Gambetta is the main guy, and there's this Martin whatever. I forgot his name. They do it together. Anyway. They run off, and we spoke about it. They don't run off 7 day microcycles because there's too much shit to train for them. They need to try and microdose qualities over a period of time so that they're at least getting that exposure, that minimum viable program. But the minimum viable program for them doesn't work because they train 2 days a week. If you're with kids in the gym twice a week, but you want to expose them to all this shit, does 7 days make sense as a microcycle? They'd rock 14 in 21 days. You know what I mean? So,
Cracker.
To circle back, Grant Fowler, my coach, rocks 14 or 21 day microcycles. Or I'll repeat the same movements 7 days, and then cycle through another lot 7 days. But I'm being exposed to everything across the 14 or 21 or the month. You know what I mean? So it's like I might not hit the same movement for a fortnight or every 3 weeks, but I'm fresh enough to fucking send it each time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to answer Hybrid's question, I think it's not so much the conjugate sequencing that would help that person with exercise variability. It would be a longer microcycle or that sort of cycling.
Yeah.
Versus having to squish everything into 7 days and then do it all again.
It's so
the next week.
different.
There's
And
no
this
time.
is, I think this is something that if you have very specific things that you want to learn and gain from training and stuff, this is why hire a coach. Like a lot of go to the people that you want to learn from and all of this sort of stuff, because you'll learn, as Jamie's just explained, so many different layers to ways in which you can do things that are from a normal perspective or a general perspective are out of the ordinary. But for those people that are in it and amongst it, it's like, hang on, this actually makes complete fucking sense.
We have an exclusive offer. Thursday the 10th, the day that the podcast is released. If you DM one of the coaches to inquire for coaching, we will offer you your first fortnight free. You must inquire today. This is for our loyal listeners who are listening to the podcast the day it comes out. First fortnight's free. DM us today to secure your spot.
Yeah.
As to why you would do it, or not do it that way and do it this way.
Because years ago, I read the 21 day micro. So I'm like, fuck, would I practically apply this? Like, I had no idea. And like, I've got a lot of influence now from my coach. Like, it's a beautiful day in age where you can just go suss out the best of the best. You know what I mean? Like you can learn from the best of the best. In there, they're selling programs, doing this, they're doing that, and you can see it. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense now.
It probably must make sense because you've gone through it versus seeing it on paper and be like, oh, what the fuck? But then you have to do like, now I feel why that actually works. Like, day to day. Yeah.
Fucking know.
We want to get, speaking of that, learning off the best, the Alex Viada's APE, the Applied Performance Education. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah, he's got all that shit in there too.
He's a fucking brain, man.
Did you hear his Q&A during the week? He was talking about, Schrodinger's cat? That
in the box, dead or alive.
Quantum physics.
Yeah, it's literally like
both dead and alive.
Yeah, a particle or a subatomic particle is in two places at once, and it's only until you see it.
Quantum entanglement, it's called.
But he did like a 2-minute rant on Schrodinger's cat, and by the end of it, I was just like, this guy is on a different level.
What was he
of
talking
intelligence.
about? Schrodinger's
He was
cat?
just like explaining the different ways that you could view the problem and how it. I can't even like repeat it, but he was saying how like. The way most people look at the issue is like, well, that's one way you can view it, or there's this other way in which it makes a little bit more fucking practical sense or whatever. I don't know.
Bro, his Q&As look scripted. The guy's that smart.
He's on his air bike.
He's on the...
He's hiking up a mountain.
His indoor trainer. He's just cruising.
One time he was
and he's smiling. He's just like...
Always drenched in sweat.
He was hiking up a mountain one time.
Hours.
Hiking up the mountain.
He's a weapon.
I feel like he's isolated. I feel like he's in a trail, like in a mountain.
Yeah.
And he just trail runs and trains.
And trains.
learns.
Trail running's what? Yeah. That's
Alex Viada.
That's the goal.
Shouts out.
That's what you
Trail
want to do?
running.
That's the goal.
I like the way he talks about trail running. He's like, there's nothing else
flow states
that will put you into a flow state like trail running. Because if you're not focused,
I got to find some trails.
Oh, really? Your foot and stuff. Yeah, no
your
shit.
gait has to constantly change.
Yeah,
so you don't
and your foot position and like what
You can't be mindless.
You got to be mindful.
have to be mindful.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I've just
Imagine barefoot trail
I feel like it's just far away for me right now because 2 kilometers is pushing.
You'll get there. You got to have.
No, we get there. It's just slow. It's like what you said at the start. It's good to suck at something. I think that's something that people need to.
It's fun.
I like sucking.
It's hard being a weapon at everything.
It's hard being excellent at everything
I
we
like
do.
sucking.
I like being
Charles.
shit. It's nice. It's good to be shit at something.
What do you like sucking, Charles?
Lollipops. What were we saying? Oh yeah, his Q&A. I was upset. I missed half of it. Fuck, because I asked a question. I asked a question. My question was, how do you program?
Did he respond?
He responds to all of them. He's responded to my questions before,
Oh, really?
but I missed it because I fucking was.
We'll send him a DM, man. He'll get back.
I was working on the floor and I missed half the things, and he didn't. Usually he
I
saves.
know he's off, mate.
Usually he saves the Q&A, and he
Fucks with
did
the
it.
waves.
That's it.
The gamma just
But
gone.
he's a specimen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ask him next week. It's all right.
I think we'll wrap it up here because
I want to ask one thing back on the 21-day microcycle because I want to.
So give me some time. Come on.
For me, it's so different to what I've learned through like coming from that more powerlifting background, RTS. Everyone sort of falls in that weak microcycle just because
it makes sense for
people's
powerlifting.
life.
It makes sense for powerlifting.
For most people, it makes sense too because it's just that's life.
I'd say 90% of application
it makes sense. It's fucking you live your life from Sunday to Monday, Monday to Sunday, and
Take it easy.
Take it easy, and then you're 3, 4, 5 sessions in, and then you start it again. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
Just like it was for you. It used to be. But then once you do it, like, oh, okay, I can see why this is.
Yeah.
But you're using it for a different goal, though. Would you say for
so
more?
I don't think it's applicable for powerlifting.
Yes, for more like
accessories. Maybe accessories.
But for chasing like more top end performance of a specific, like powerlifting, weightlifting, probably not.
I don't think for SBD. I think if you could cycle accessories through, that may mitigate potential fatigue that you could. Like the resources you could allocate to SBD.
Yes,
Maybe.
But then
I've never done
would you be compromising overload? Potentially. That's what I'm thinking.
Just stimulate, don't annihilate.
As long as you go to a 9, you're good.
Yeah, that's it.
9 for everything.
Just Mike Mensa, just random everything.
9. Microdose.
Microdose
everything.
All right. We're done.
We're done.
At the shops, microdose.
Thank you very much. If you made it to the end of this, as we always will say, please give us 5 stars on Spotify. But also, if you're interested in coaching with any of the boys here, shoot them a DM or we have a form on our website just under online coaching. We are available for online coaching and we would love to work with you over the coming months and towards your goals and whatever you want to achieve. So please jump in there.
Don't wait.
Other than that, we will see you next week.
Catch us later.
Thank you.
Ciao, puppy.